Hello, and welcome to Dice Dropping's Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game, Chronicles of House Weirlight. Say hi, House Weirlight.
Hello.
Hi, Weirlight.
Okay, yep. Makes sense there. Welcome back to hopefully the wrap-up of our Kingslanding arc. House Weirlight has, after vindicating their name and finding out many of the conspirators that had levied the treacherous scheme to take their house down alongside their rival house, House Dannett, they have since sort of swept through many events of the tournament, with both sworn sword of the House Nightmora and the heir of the House Henrik taking very high place in the tournament and won enough to become members of the semifinal, which automatically made them guests of honor in the final feast. And of course, the first daughter of the House Mariella's first foray into the equestrian domain, Timian 6, which is an excellent showing for a first time. Of course, Henrik won claim to fame among Reachmen for defeating the Viper, Oberyn Martell, dreaded younger brother of Doran Martell, and famous for crippling the heir to House Tyrell.
And then we have Tetrick in the melee.
Yes, we do. Up until this point, unfortunately, the lady of the house, Vivian, has been in the High Maester's Tower recovering from a near-fatal poisoning. Though it is expected with the help of a High Maester and Maester Thorsten that she will have a full recovery with very little things detracting from her quality of life. Perhaps she'll be a bit stiff in the morning, and she will have and catching her breath will be a little difficult at certain times. But I mean, as a lady of a high house, what actual physical exercise does she need to do?
Just have other people breathe for you.
There you go.
Kyle Flowers.
Those horseback rides with Tetrick, those are the physical exercises.
Yes, indeed.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
But yeah, there you go.
Oh, is she going to feel well enough to watch Tetrick in the Grand Melee?
Unfortunately, most likely. She will be able to attend the closing feast, though unfortunately, dancing will be out of the question.
To be prohibited.
She may sit dignified in a very nice chair.
See, it's okay that she's not going to be coming to the Grand Melee because that'll just give me more oomph and anger to put forth in the Grand Melee.
There you go.
There you are. But we have lots to get to, and lots of scenes and whatnot to do. So let's get into it. So, that is the question. Which one of you first?
Rochambeau?
Yep.
I think Tetrick's going to win.
Online.
It depends on what.
Rochambeau.
No. No, I know that. He has a good idea of what Rochambeau is.
No, I know.
I think we should. I think what we're going to do is come in on a room in the Red Keep. It's kind of, it's not part of the big main structure. It's much more off to the side, but it is within the Red Keep. Uh, it is most likely, I believe, the sun would have set at this point. And there is we see like a room, stone. There is a window. It's mostly obscured by some foliage that would sit outside on the grounds. Only the real top parts of it have any form of moonlight coming in. Candles are placed around for lighting purposes only, really. And there is a small table where a dusky skinned man is eating, beginning to eat. And there is the door of the far room opens. And a kind of a guard kind of steps in. He's wearing very like odd armor from what we've probably seen from most of the guards in King's Landing. It definitely looks out of place. A lot less metal, a lot more leather, like a boiled cuirass. And he just says, she is here. And there's simply a nod. And walking into the room is Naimora. And standing up from the table, Naimora, you see your Lord Father.
So I've tried to dress like my best for this. But unfortunately my best is not very fancy, but clean, clean pressed linens and like nice trousers and like a decent doublet. It's like I don't own any dresses.
Of course not.
In deference to the fact that he is my father and this is the Red Keep, I don't have my spear with me.
Okay.
So, I have knives. I have
Right.
knives and I have like a knife in my boot or something like that. But I don't. But this is the Red Keep. I mean, you don't. I feel like that's disrespectful.
Understood.
Like walking around here if you're not a guard of the Red Keep with
fair
just a
enough
weapon strapped to your back.
You see your Lord Father, Sir Simon Santagar, spelled with a Y because
fancy. I bow as soon as I enter. I do bow to him.
He smiles slightly and inclines his head, but he goes back to mask. He's wearing, very Dornish style, so very close to the knit. The gold brass buttons, a sort of design pattern of a kind of deep blue with yellow flowers and vines kind of going through it. No flowing kind of open sleeves like we see a lot in the Reach. Very tight sleeves, very everything kept close, and then a kind of flowing silk pants, sort of undercut from like the very much longer petticoat kind of doublet than you would see other places. That was always there to sort of keep dust out. At least that was the design. No noble has to actually walk through dust, even in Dorne.
Could just be carried.
Exactly. And we see him there with his mustache and goatee, very, very short cut hair, and his dusky complexion that we have seen many times on Memora. Though he has much faded eyes than Memora might have. And he just gestures for the other chair.
Right. I turn to the man who just let me in. Thank you. And I'm going to go and take a seat across from my father.
He does, in your mind, mistakenly go, "My lady," and close the door.
I don't. You know what? I'll correct him later. That's fine.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'll just take a seat and just. I'm visibly nervous. Not and not like nervously looking at Lord Santigar, but just at everything around me because this is the Red Keep.
Yep.
This is terrifying.
He does seem to have a small room
Mm-hmm.
within the keep, which makes sense. The castellan of the keep is his brother, your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And he just sort of. Do you sit at the table?
I do. I take a seat,
Mhm.
and
he just says, "Wine."
yeah, I would love a glass, thank you.
Yeah. He just reaches out and pours the wine, as is custom in Dorne.
Mhm.
Most lords in Dorne pour their own wines for
Poison reasons.
let's just say cultural reasons. Um,
Poison is a cultural. That's my culture.
so yeah,
Mhm.
pours you from a decanter of wine.
Mhm.
And he sort of just leans back in the chair a bit. He's very, erect, back is straight. He's always had like perfect posture.
He's a good knight.
Yeah, and he's kind of just sort of looks at you.
Mhm. It's good to see you again. Been a few years.
It has been a few years, yes. About what?
I think it's been like I left when I was 19. I'm 26 now.
So that's
7.
7-8 years.
Yeah.
Around now.
So,
You look well.
Well, I have a couple of holes right through my shoulder in my midsection, so that actually means a lot that you said that. I'm hiding it well.
Well, you look like you've eaten well.
Better than before, yeah. A lot better.
You. I'm sure there are things you wish to discuss.
I will be honest. I spent years thinking that I would. I spent years thinking that if I could ever meet with you again and show you how strong I'd become and how well I could fight and how good I can protect people, that then I would finally feel comfortable asking for your approval. That maybe I could finally for the past few years I've thought that if I could become a knight and then come back, then maybe I would finally fit in. And maybe my Lady Silva would not hate me as much as she did. And maybe I would feel like I belonged. But House Weirlight has done well for me. I've never felt like I belonged somewhere before, but I feel like I belong with them. They don't ever shame me or treat me poorly, even though I'm not a knight. I'm not much of anything other than a sworn sword. but I'm still very glad that you could see how much I've grown.
Whew.
They'll give you a lot to unpack there, Dad.
Yeah. He just kind of nods and goes, though it has been around 7 years, I think that is the most you have said to me in one sitting throughout our entire relationship.
It's when growing up, Mama told me a lot of stories about you, about the dashing Dornish lord that she met on the docks. But I think when I was younger, I was always too scared. It's when you are not, when you don't have any worth to noblemen, it is very easy for you to make one wrong step.
He raises his
Yeah.
eyebrow and he goes, no, I do not believe that was what it was. Naimora, I do not believe for a moment that you were scared of what would happen to you if you made a wrong step in Dorne. You were scared what would happen to us. I do not believe for a moment that you have ever been a coward. I think you are kind.
I think there's people that I know who would say I'm not smart enough to be prone to cowardice.
I don't know how intelligence would fall into this, but you can be quite reckless, yes. I also am a little confused why you thought by becoming more accomplished that Silva would like you more. I
think.
I just want to let you know.
Mhm.
I know I was aware to a small degree that Silva did not make you feel welcome, predominantly due to the edgings on of her mother. And I hope you understand why that was. It had nothing to do with you.
No,
It had everything to do with if I accepted you, Silva would no longer be my heir. You would.
I know, and I knew that even then. I think I knew that.
I also didn't understand then that her words affected you that much. Because she was 5.
That and the scorpions in my bed, and
his eyes go a little wide at that.
And
just like,
and the people who tried to trick me while I was training, and I almost fell on my spear a few times, and also when I woke up one morning and all of my clothes had just knife marks and slash marks through them, and
he's nodding.
So yeah, was it Silva? No, she was 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it was what it was. I am old enough now to not hold a grudge.
Nods.
I wish her and her lady mother all good tidings. I hope that she becomes as fair and as kind a ruler, a lady of the house as you have been.
I'm sure they would appreciate that. Those actions that you have spoken of, that definitely sounds like Ariane's influence. That girl is spirited. Silva has a lot of insecurity, because of her face. The spots, as people call them.
I don't. I may point towards, gesture towards my face, and I was just like, yeah, but I don't know why. I mean,
I see no fault in them either, but that culture, those are people, all people of nobility. Does not matter whether you are ruler or not. What you look like matters to some. I'm sure Silva, she's strong. She will use it to her advantage at some point if she's anything like her mother. But I have seen how you've changed. You have matured. I can see that. Your skill has grown quite exponentially. That is good. I'm happy to see it. I suspected something because of the helmet. It's a little too... There aren't many, leopards.
really only a few houses that it could mean.
Nods.
But I wanted to have something made that even if I didn't make it very far, that I could take back with me. At least I tried. And now I have a bunch of horses that I don't know what to do with.
You could sell them.
It feels rude.
I think she just kind of shrugs. They're yours to do with what you wish. But Nemora, I am sorry that you felt unwelcome in Spotswood. And I would have you be where you could be best, as I can never recognize you officially as my heir. I can't. But knowing that, I have for close on 10 years now, I've always seen you as my first daughter. I mean, how could I not? We are a lot alike in many ways. I remember being that young. I remember being as young as you are now. Though you are not a child, I know that, but... No, I bonded with you the only way that could be seen as not an insult to people that are very important, not only to my own plans, but to Dorn. And in the coming years, possibly more.
I know. It's it had to be a rich woman, huh?
He nods. How is your mother, by the way?
It's fine. I send her money. She still works, even though I send her money. Her hands have gotten rougher. She started doing I think some more odd jobs instead of just doing the fishing and the but she's good. She caught sick about a year ago, but she got better.
Good.
But now we're sometimes she just has trouble with she can't really taste she can't taste like strong things anymore after she got sick.
Nods.
So but she's good.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. She feel like you get a lot of your stubbornness from her. She was resistant to things even if she wants them.
Mhm.
She has to go about her own way. I remember that.
She didn't want me to leave. She didn't want me to leave home. She didn't want me to become a mercenary. She didn't want me to join with House Weirlight. She wanted me to stay home. I think that she's lonely a lot.
Perhaps. But I think the reason she wanted you to stay wasn't for company.
No, also so that I could help her with work.
Perhaps. But I definitely believe it is most likely a case that she
Come grab it, Ma.
knows this world
Bear it back.
well, and she knows what women are outside of Dorne. She was probably worried. But you, through your own stubbornness, have made your own way, even though it nearly killed you several times.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But you have obviously grown, and you have made a spectacle of yourself this tournament. And I can't do much more for you. I can't invite you back to Spotswood. If you come, you'll be welcome. But I can't invite you. I can't. I suppose if I did what I wanted, I could have more of a relationship with you. But I can't. As it would go against many of my own oaths. And I'm sure you think I am a coward for this, and I wouldn't refute you. But I would like to do something for you. And because I believe you could have gotten this so long ago, but like your mother, you are resistant to things that you want unless you do it your way. And I hope you know that you have more than earned it at this point. And he stands up and walks over to a dresser essentially, and opens a long box and pulls out a blade you recognize very easily. It is the ancestral blade of House Santagar. Very fine, thin make. It's a long sword, but not like hand and a half or bastard or anything like that. Nothing big. It's Dornish. Very sleek. Has a jaguar on it, of course, and it's made of a very rare wood from across the narrow sea. The hilt, anyway. And he walks over to you, and he looks at you and goes, "Kneel."
I think there's just like there's like tears like standing out in my eyes, but I'm just like, yeah.
It's okay. We know
And,
you got something in your eye.
And I will push myself out of the chair, get down one knee and just looking up at him, just like,
I think, and he places a blade on one side and goes, I think, Nymora Flowers. Do you swear to serve the lands you have sworn to keep the oaths you have promised and slay the enemies of those you have been sworn to?
I swear.
Then, and he does the pats. Rise, Sir Nymora.
I get slowly to my feet and just like Can I write you letters, at least?
He smiles. He goes, and he just kind of grabs you and kisses you on the forehead, and then once on each of your cheeks, and kind of brings you in for a very strong hug.
Just crushing, just absolutely crushing. This is two people who have like a strength of +4.
Exactly right. You're both very strong. You're just and he's got his hand on the back of your head, and he just goes, my girl, of course.
I've missed you, Dad.
I have missed you very much. And we can leave it there. Now, of course, I will say, he's like, oh, by the way, there's also this paper you signed.
Oh, yeah, there's
writs of peerage and
Let's get drunk well into the night and sign paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. And it is a good night. So we.
It sounds like Clarissa's good time, getting drunk in the night and signing paperwork.
Mute myself as I cry a little bit.
We will move over, I think, to the morning. A grand morning that is hailed by trumpets and fanfare and cheers as the melee pit, which has had a good turnout, is practically overflowing with people. There are cheers and screams and yells and batterings of shields as people are ready for the grand melee. People, of course, ecstatic about what is about to happen. Several fighters of great strength and power are coming together to beat the living shit out of each other in a pit of sand. Of course, the the higher ranking like places are filled with nobles, but there are tons of people packed around the outside just to hear of small folk to higher and lower. We of course see in a small little strip of of the pews. We do see members of House Weirlight, as there's nothing really else going on at this time of day except for this event. And we would say, who is there to cheer on their lord? I mean, unfortunately, Vivian cannot make it, but I feel like
She is here in the spirit.
Yep. Henrik, are you there? I don't know if I saw him. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I'm there.
Okay, good. All right,
Of course I'm there. I got to support my father, yeah.
yeah,
Passionate.
cool. So,
Hang out with some of your Westerland bros. Like, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, that's my dad. Maybe rib Walton a little bit there. Check it out. This is where I get it from.
I will say,
he's really cool.
He's real cool. I will say, Walton is not there. At least not that you can see.
Damn.
But yeah, there's many people there. Everyone there, they cheering. You all notice Nymora looks a bit more maybe upbeat. Maybe they wearing a little nicer clothes than she would wear casually at this point.
Got the medieval equivalent of dark glasses on from getting wine drunk the night before.
That too, but you look cool. Nymora, you look great. You look great. I didn't see you last night. Celebrating? Good, right?
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone who means a lot to me.
Right.
All right. Over the cheering, Tidrick, in your like area of the pit, not outside. You're still like within the walls. Your armor is being fitted. Your blade is being handed to you. Jean is of course helping you, and along with occasionally while being fitted, Kyle is handing you a glass of I'm guessing wine.
Not this time, Jean. I'm going to take the bastard sword
I think.
and tower shield.
I think, of course, my lord. Yeah, you are handed your a blunted bastard sword and your very disturbingly large tower shield. As you know, you are up against quite a force.
Also, the last time, the tower shield does give a +6.
Yes.
Last time you said it was 4.
Yes, I misjudged because I keep forgetting there are 3 tiers of shields. I for some reason thought there were just 2, but yes, no, it is in fact, you are in fact correct.
Who's he fighting again this time? What's the match for?
Oh,
Just
it's
everybody.
It's the group.
It's a whole group of men. Normally it's supposed to be 7 men, but because of certain straining circumstances that happened,
It's just 5.
It's
5.
Yeah. So now, does anyone know who is participating?
Sir Barristan Selmy is
Thoros of Mir is
one.
here too.
Thoros of,
Right?
yeah, he's in it. And
Yep,
then there were
Thoros.
2 unfamiliar knights that did not get named.
I think 2 unfamiliar knights are not being named.
Yeah, you didn't name them.
Yeah,
last
you didn't
time.
name the other 2.
All right, good. Yes, I thought I didn't. Good. All right, cool.
Pass the quiz. Yes, group.
Way to go. Yeah. So, excelente. So yeah, people are cheering. So you are going to be using your tower shield and blade.
Yes.
All right. So you've got your everything all worked out there.
I'm working it out right now.
Okay.
So I have 7 from my agility, athletics, and awareness. I
Mhm.
believe I get a +10 from my armor. Am I correct on defense bonus?
No, not your defense. No, on just armor. You have a -6 from your armor for your defense.
Okay, but my defense bonus would probably be for my shield then.
Yeah, so it
Okay, so that's
mitigated
plus-
itself.
Yep. So I have 7.
There you go. There you are.
Let's put that back down to where that's supposed to be.
Alrighty.
And does strength give me a +1 with the bastard sword, or just the?
I believe so. I believe it is a power weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. I do believe so.
Kick that one.
Yep. All right. So, it is now sort of you guys didn't really like hear. Jean does tell you he found out what one of the other knights in the melee is going to be. It's Sir Brendan Tully.
Oh, all right.
Otherwise known as the Blackfish.
Thing.
The current gate of the guardian of the gate of the Vale. He's though he's the brother of the like Lord Hoster Tully, who rules the Riverlands, but he serves John Aaron, the Warden of the East. Yes, Warden of the East. So many titles.
Errands.
Yeah, but Sir Brendan Tully is one of your other importance. He is, a distinguished knight of great skill and honor, and he basically is Basically, so far, everyone who's fighting here is very famous for being a very good knight. Also, Thoris of Myr, but yeah.
Also, there's that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's known for being a really good fighter, but he's just not a man of honor or repute or anything like that.
Did we learn who the last person was?
Not at this moment. But yes, everyone's being set up. You are in the stands. There are, a few people attending. I believe from what, was it Iris is here to watch, as is, Sir Brian, which of course, Henrik, the true secret.
Yes.
Yes, he is in fact Lord Tiger. Tiger Wild. Wild.
Sounds like a rapper name.
All right.
Tiger Wild.
What up, Tiger Wild in the house, yo? Are he and Iris sitting together?
They are.
Okay.
I think they are. They are sat next to each other. Iris is wearing a veil, and is wearing black, as her brother died a few days ago.
Right, and she can actually
Now
identify
properly
him.
mourn him.
He had
Yeah.
mourning. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's wearing mourning clothes, as she is in fact kind of sad about that. Just a little bit.
Not to be confused with afternoon clothes.
No.
Not morning clothes.
Anyways.
I hate you. All right.
We got a melee.
Slap yourself.
Bad.
It's the maester's
yeah.
privilege of punning.
Yes. All right. Also, before as a man kind of comes out and begins to like, he's like a master of ceremonies. He begins to hype the crowd up of the great thing we're about to witness of pure skill, prowess, honor, chivalry, and kind of goes off. He does name the knights member of the King's Court and great warrior from afar, from across the narrow sea, Thoros of Myr. legendary captain of the King's Guard, Sir Barristan Selmy, the hero of the Battle of Ashford, Lord Tedric Weirlight,
Raucous hooting and hollering.
raucous hooting, and excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Legendary Guardian of the Vale, Sir Bryndon Tully, and of course, what would be the title here? The Crasher of the Dragon Gates, Sir Ellis Westerling, who, though, I mean, if anyone in the crowd would like to, perhaps to try and identify who Sir Ellis Westerling is.
I
Sure.
would
Yes.
try.
Westerling sound familiar to me, but let me see if they do to Henrik.
They should. They
Yes.
should. But
This is status breeding, right?
Right?
it's status breeding.
Shh. I
Shit.
probably
That's-
theoretically shouldn't know, but I can roll for shits and giggles.
So,
Mariella,
Jesus, Tedric.
you could know, Mariella. This is true.
but no.
Jesus.
I haven't been paying
My
attention.
rolls
today,
are
so-
already looking good.
All right,
Oh,
Naimora.
that's right, I have a wound.
Yeah, Naimora,
I'm
you're like
in-
you're kind of drunk and still in a lot of
Yeah,
pain.
terrible
and
hangover. Yeah.
you had a sip of the milk of the poppy earlier. You're just like
Mhm.
that feeling. I don't know. Sounds like a cunt. I don't know. But
Sounds like a real asshole. I don't care.
But Tedric, Thorsten, Mariella, and Henrik, you all know who that is. He is one of the knights who is sort of. He's like one of 5 knights that are sort of Tywin Lannister's guys.
Ooh, that makes sense.
And he was actually the first knight through the gate of the Red Keep when the Lannisters sacked the King's Landing.
Oh, I see.
He killed a lot of Targaryen knights. He fought and killed a lot of dudes. So like he's not nobody. These are all of these people have a reputation of some kind. Others, some more than others. I mean, most of the crowd is like, Sir Barristan Selmy. The other people,
Yeah,
because
sounds about right.
even babes growing up in the north know who Barristan Selmy is.
Mm-hmm.
The hero of the Battle of Blackfire.
Yes, yes.
But we will sort of about to begin the melee. Tedric, you now know the names of your opponents. All men of repute and honor, though you might have a personal irk against Sir Ellis, as he is a man who killed many people you knew. You were on the opposite sides of the war.
You
But
said cunning is the intelligence one, right?
yeah, generally.
I'm gonna roll a cunning roll, and if I get a certain degree, it depends upon who I'm going to attack first.
Okay, I like that. I like it. Imposing your own
It's
restrictions.
between
I'm down.
Stelmy and the other guy.
Sir Ellis.
Yes, Ellis.
Sir Ellis Westerling.
If I get it, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna go for Selmy. If I don't, I'm gonna let my instincts rule me.
Oh, this is how impulsive is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah! Wow.
7.
I'm
Seven.
still split.
Yeah, I mean, did you not give yourself a
No,
target
I
number?
just looked at it.
Did
and
you
I'm
not
like,
designate what your difficulty was?
I rolled a 1 and a 6.
You're just split.
Yeah.
Yep. So we see the flags of each house come out. Thoris of Myr just seems to have a yellow flag with like a burning heart on it. House Selmy, Selmy's flag is not on display, as it is instead the symbol of the King's Guard, as he is the captain of the King's Guard, and he has given up his ties to his house. the symbol of House Tully comes up. However, all of the color from the fish is gone, as it is the personal chanting of Sir Brendan. And then, of course, the very prominent symbol of House Westerling, which is 6 white seashells on beige.
Whoa. Whoa. Tone it down a notch, Westerling.
They're colors of white and beige.
Turn it down. Gosh.
Unclean.
And then, of course, the banner of House Weirlight. Yeah. I think you see some places, some people are talking about the house mottos and stuff. House Westerling's motto is, of course, honor, not honors, which essentially means like do stuff worthy, don't be polite. Which, yeah, House Westerling is not super popular.
Not fun. Not they don't get invited to a bunch of parties.
No. I mean, Mariella and Tedric would specifically know because you guys got stupid high. All of the fortune that Ellis won for his house was completely failed by his brother, who's the lord of House Westerling, by marrying his daughter to a in-debt noble family because of some old oath that he had, and it's caused all of the spoils that Ellis won to kind of go nowhere. So the Westerlings are kind of seen as idiots.
Money
because
pits.
of that.
Their money pits got it.
Yeah, they married into the House Spicer, which
I mean,
not a
you
good
do
house.
that. Yeah.
Which kind of provokes the response: "Who the fuck is House Spicer?"
Exactly.
I'm gonna
That's it.
guess they deal with spices.
They're
but yeah.
super in debt. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently they're not doing great at that.
No. I mean, they're doing fine now, but just most of their money's gone now. But Sir Ellis still looks strong, hale, healthy as he comes up. He has short, curled blonde hair. It's less curled and more wavy with the swirl. He looks very handsome. In his beige armor.
Oh God.
The metal isn't colored; it's just a tabard. But
Can't even be buff. It's beige.
yeah,
Henrik's just shaking his head as he sees it. It's just,
Every hint of
Wait,
color
I
has
know.
been buffed out of this
God,
armor.
not even a shine. Jeez.
Yep. As he raises his blade, as everyone kind of comes out, I think Ellis just goes I dedicate this to the one true king, Robert Baratheon. And people cheer, and I think
Good on you, bud.
you see the reach section is just
Sure.
they're just clapping very unenthused.
Thumbs up, buddy.
And these 5 large men, all of them quite large, all wielding different weapons. Thoris of Mir is wielding a bastard sword that he's just sort of leaning on. Sir Barristan Selmy has a long blade and a shield. Sir Brendan Tully also has a long blade and a shield. And Sir Ellis has a spear and a shield. Looks like almost everyone here has a shield, including Tedric, who just comes out looking like a villain from 300. Looks like the pride of the Persian army as he comes out in full power shield, which just has an insane, colored, embossed, human-sized Weirlight on it, which, of course, Clarissa is beginning to look a certain way to you.
Yikes.
Moderately terrifying if you know what they are.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Indeed. No one else can see the face, but you see it. You know it's there.
Mhm.
Just throwing your hands up. Yep. All right. All 5 of these men look strong, skilled, I think healthy. Many of them placing their helms upon their head, and trumpets sound, and the melee begins. Tidrick. I didn't even have to say anything. Look at that.
All you got to do is say my name.
We're getting so good.
What's my name?
What's my name? There we go. All right. So Tidrick with a 13, it's very good. Please tell me which of the other 4 opponents are you charging?
Sell me.
You're charging Stelmy? All right. I'm guessing it is a charge. It is your signature.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see then what Selmy got. Doo-doo.
Try to take us down to there because of that.
That's that. That's that.
No, that's right. That was that. That goes down to there. Okay.
All right. Oh gosh. All right. Hold on. I now have to. I'm trying to unmute his his sheet.
I'm just gonna say,
Unprivate
like,
him.
Tony, are we allowed
Yeah.
to see this one? Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm trying. I
Yeah.
saw it and I was like, oh, hold on.
Selmy's
Yeah.
just shy. That's what this is.
It's
He's
not
very
as
humble.
it's not as easy.
He's very
on-
shy.
There we go. It's not as easy on TNT. Hold on.
He's just a
sorry.
nice dude.
I was
Like,
going to remind you, but I thought you had it.
He doesn't toot his own horn.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
no, she's
Enough.
not there.
I know. I was only going to do it 3 times.
I'm only gonna do it 3.
Only thrice, because then it is true.
The bell. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Down 3
And,
times.
yeah. Down 3 times. All right, so we have, what is this? His agility, of course. Which, not great. He's in his late 60s. Nope. Tidrick, it is in fact your go.
And so that's -1 fighting plus 2 to damage. Or
Yes.
Plus 2 to the result.
Yes,
Does he have a shield?
he does.
Okay. So we're all doing sword and board.
Almost everyone. Except for Thoris of Mir and Ellis.
Right. No, you said Ellis had a shield.
He does, but he has a spear.
Ah. Well, sword and board is just a term for one-handed
Sure.
and shield.
One-handed and shield. That is you are very correct, yeah. Everyone but Thora. Everyone but Thoros. Thoros is is two-handing a bastard sword.
Okay. Here we go.
So he's baseballing it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Excelente. Very nice. 18. Yes, well, that will absolutely strike Sebaristan Selmy. However, he is going to add... Hold on, because it's coming... 7. Yep, okay, so you guys basically have the same. So that normally would be 1, 2, 3 degrees of success. However, he is going
He did a thing.
to... Yes, he does. He does have a thing. He is in fact ready.
He's a legendary buddy.
He does. So he is going to, which is
All right, gonna test my metal against legendaries now.
his rank in fighting. Okay. So that's minus as he sort of brings his shield to bear, he turns your 18 into a 13. However, that is still 2 degrees of success, so pretty good. So,
But it's not a crit.
No, it's not a crit. Would have been a crit,
Yeah.
but it's not.
All right. I see how this guy's gonna play it.
All right, so tell me the damage.
All right. So the bastard sword has a base of 7.
Yes,
So that would be times 3 then?
times 2.
Times 2. So that would be 14.
Yeah, and then
Plus
14.
2 is 16.
Yep, 16 damage. Alrighty, so that reduces.
Wait, so that's right. The charge gave it to damage. Right.
Yes, it gives it to damage. So that minuses 80. Yeah, you definitely deal him a blow.
Nice.
He seems, quite able to withstand it, but you definitely do get past his shield and give him a good thwang.
Wayne.
Thwang.
Good thwang. Just a good old thwang.
Just a solid old thwang. I hope. From the top down, our spectators, we see that Brendan and Thoros look like immediately rush to each other, and then we see Ellis coming up and looking like he is about to charge Tedric from the back.
Bastard.
But you'd be better off taking out Selmy with Cedric and then dealing with each other. But
he seems to have a different idea about how.
Yeah. That's fair. Confidence is key.
He is going to get his. Do not worry.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Boop. So with the charge up, that is a 15 to hit.
Combat defense is 7, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that means he gets a crit on you. And he has 1/6, so he gets the base crit ability. Let's see here. Chapter 9. There we are. Aha! A solid hit. You land a solid blow, increase the base damage of your weapon by 2. All right, so that would make it 6 times. Unfortunately, though he does crit you, I believe he only gets, was it? Because it's 1, 2. No, not quite 3 degrees. Not quite, but he does double it. So he does get a crit. So it's only 2 degrees. So that turns that to 6. Actually, sorry, 7 times 2. Actually, that would increase further because of the charge. So that's actually that's 9. That's 9 times 2. So that is 18 damage as he slams. Yes, minus 10 from your armor.
Yikes!
So 8.
Oh, I'm fine.
I know you are. But he does slam you from the side as he just fully charged, puts his Zerb and jams his spear at you. You feel it all in the weaker part of your armor as it bends a little. As you now have both Ellis and Selmy. It is Selmy's turn. He seems as if he was about to attack you, but then upon Ellis slamming into your side, he seems to immediately go for Ellis.
Oh, see? Wasn't that bad. I'm good, came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do the honorable thing.
You gonna do the honorable thing?
And just let them go at it.
Let them go
Oh, I thought you were going to hit Alice.
Well, I had a whole thing planned, but I didn't expect Selmy to turn on Alice.
It's 27.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Get it, Selmy.
Yep, so that's a 27. So let's see. Ellis's combat defense currently is 9. Unfortunately, Selmy doesn't have any 6s. That's right, he got a 27 with rolling no 6s.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really crit, but he does do. What was that? 4 degrees of success. That's fun.
See, this is why you don't be shady.
So that's 20 damage levied towards Ellis. Ellis does absorb a good amount of that. However, Ellis is going to take a injury in order to not get out of this fight yet. Well, it wouldn't have knocked him out of the fight, but he wants to take less damage. So he takes an injury. But yeah, Selmy he left himself wide open to Selmy because he obviously didn't think Selmy would go after him because of how bulky Tidrick was, but he just immediately, boom, just right in the small opening between the shield arm and the side. And it reels Ellis quite hard. Thoros of Mir, Brendan Tully has charged Thoros of Mir. He seems to have knocked Thoros of Mir over. Thoros got back up, said something in a strange language, gripped his sword, and it just lit on fire. And everyone just goes insane.
Yeah!
Because he has a flaming sword.
Everyone likes pyrotechnics at a show. Come on.
Really
Yep,
do.
and
All the special effects.
2 hands swing it over Brendan Tully. It slides off his shield, but gets his arm, and it does set part of his tabard on fire.
Jeez.
At least it has more color.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, this is Brendan. Yeah. All right, so Tidrick, it is your go.
As much as I want to hit him back, I just want to do the honorable thing and just... Actually, you know what? I'll look to Selmy, and I'll basically gesture for permission.
Yeah, I mean,
to
obviously,
attack Alice.
yeah. No, of course, he nods. This is the grand melee, like free for all.
Fight whoever you
Slap
want.
my sword to my chest, turn, and reckless attack.
Oh, shit!
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
It's okay. Maybe he'll be honorable too. We don't know.
You gotta make the
Take up.
assumption. Yeah.
So,
All right, so reckless attack. You add +1 dice to your fighting, and you have a -5 to your combat defense for the next
Yeah.
round. Your combat defense will be 2.
I'm hoping that he will be honorable in the same way that he was when he attacked Ellis.
Perhaps. We will see.
Perhaps.
Is that a good enough thing?
All right, so that was it. 3, 4, 5 degrees of success with a
For 2
2 rank crit. So powerful hit. Your attack leaves your opponent reeling. Increase the base damage of your weapon by 4.
That would be 11.
So that's 11 times 5 is 55 minus 10.
45.
Yeah, Tidrick, you just bash this guy's shield away from him, and then just boom, boom, and I think lay 3 solid blows down on him, kind of dropping your shield to the side, and then just overhanding it and just slamming your.
I completely dropped my shield, yeah.
Yeah, just slammed over and I think over again as this Westerling kind of goes flying back at least 4 or 5 feet into the dust as he kind of spits up some blood. And it is called, by a flag being raised, that Sir Ellis is down. I think he has been removed from the melee. No one's coming to get him yet.
Yeah, because there's still fighting going on.
Just a little too cray at the moment.
Just a wee bit cray cray.
Barristan like just sees you do that and like nods. Like nods. But he then strikes you. He figured. He fully recognizes it, but
I am a force to be reckoned with.
100%, yeah, and to do any less would be a dishonor to you. So he now Barristan tell me would never make a reckless attack. That's just not what he does. What are we doing?
Forfeiting.
No.
I tried, Jesse.
Yeah, I think. Yes, I think. Yeah, he is going to just straight up attack you with his blade. A 27.
Respectable.
Unfortunately, now Tidric, that's going to take you out. Because that's already a large crit, but it would be just trying to get just.
It's okay, math.
It's okay, math.
So that'd be 25 with my 2 combat defense, which would be 5
degrees of success.
Which
Right.
he got 2, so that adds 4 to his weapon.
Yeah, so that's 9 total. Times 5 is 45. Minus 10 is 35.
Okay,
now,
let's see
here's what we can do. If you take a wound, the damage goes away. But then you have a wound. And a wound gained, as we know with Nymora's rolls, could become permanent. Nymora and Thorson was there. Now you do have Thorson in the wings. Like, it's less of a chance here, but there is a chance, right? After the wound is given, you make a roll. If you succeed, then it just has to be treated and you're good. But you would be taken out second. If you are okay with that, sure. But if you want to take a wound in this tournament and then just fucking thwack this old man.
I'm doing some math.
Sure.
Or you could burn a destiny.
Yes, Marietta.
I just have a slightly random question. Isn't it technically like if it's like first blood or whatever, you're out anyways, which would
So this is the grand melee. It's a bit different than the melee.
Yeah,
it's
like I just wanted to ask for a clarification because it's
so
the
in
difference.
In the melee, it's the first to an injury essentially.
Yeah.
So knocked unconscious or injury. But in the grand melee, it basically just simulates combat. So you can go
until you're unconscious, basically.
Until you're unconscious or you give up.
Okay. I'm not a combat kid. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what was going on correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no shame if you go out by Barristan Selmy.
That is really
I'm
not.
going to go Diedrich style. I'm taking the wound.
You're taking the wound. Okay. Tidric, then I will need you at this exact moment to make a endurance test.
Endurance!
12. The number you needed.
Nice.
Good. Then we don't need to roll. Then it doesn't really super matter where it is. We'll say it's your leg. That he swings down, you go to block, and he just boom hits the side of your other leg. and you feel a great amount of pain, and you feel there's something wrong. Something just happened to your leg. It might be broken or something, but it doesn't feel right. Luckily, all of the metal bracings around it is keeping it sort of in place. So you're like, whatever. Deal with it later.
Fortune will figure it out.
However, unfortunately, Selmy has another attack. Yes.
How many wounds can I take?
Equal to your endurance range.
Okay. That's the same with injuries. Right?
That is the same with injuries, yes.
That's what I thought.
Injuries fill up injuries and they start becoming wounds, essentially. So he hits your leg, and then he and motions as if, he were to lop your head off, essentially. As he will once again make another attack against you. Boop. So that's a 30.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, unfortunately, that's still 5 degrees of success. 2 higher, and it would have been 6. But that would be, and another 2 6s. So that is the same amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to take a second wound?
I'm thinking about it.
I mean, you've already taken the first. I mean, you might as well just take a second.
You are not a good influence.
I'm not supposed to be. I'm the voice. I'm the voice in all of your heads, and Tedric's head means he has to win. So there's no chance of death by taking the second
damage.
Quite.
It could be.
And
If you,
that would mean that my endurance roll would have 1 less die.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will tell
All my
you.
rolls would have 1 less die.
Yeah, so I will tell you, if you fail the endurance test roll, it could gain, we would have to roll to see where it is and see how it could permanently affect you. However, if you are treated well enough, it can go away.
Okay.
But it can then explain problems maybe you have in the future. It does, however, increase the difficulty of treating the wound. Thorsten, however, has canonically rolled disgustingly well, so
That's why
Correct.
I'm not worried about wounds and stuff. Okay, then that would be that. I'm just gonna drop out.
Okay. So he
Because
says,
I want to be able to do enough damage to him.
fair enough. So you slam into the leg, and you just go, and you just boom across the side of your helmet. Your vision swirls as you slam, on a boom as you hit the ground. Henrik and Mariella, you see your father go down, bested by Barristan Selmy. What the crowd sees is 2 guys charge Barristan Selmy, and then he puts them both down.
That's fair.
And people cheer, and I think just
Pump up the legend of Barristan Selmy.
essentially, yeah. The rest of the fight kind of plays out. Thors of Mir does catch a good amount of Brendan Tully's clothes on fire. It comes to a point where Brennan, utterly engulfed in flames, has thrown his weapons onto the ground, as instead just fully tackled Thoros of Mir.
They're just rolling around punching each other.
Essentially, they're now just kind of onto the ground. Thoros is beginning to caught fire. They both now separated and have begun to roll onto the ground. You do notice Barristan has come over and begun to kick dirt on both of them to try and help them get the flames out. To help them put the flames out. They both stand up. And then all kind of face each other, and then once again charge. both Brendan and Thoros attack Barristan. And after a few moments,
Thoros don't have his blades.
like
I'm
both.
sorry, Barristan.
Afterwards, Barristan is the only one left standing. Though standing is definitely a term.
Strong word.
He is definitely injured.
And I'm left not moving.
Yep.
Father.
Everyone else is on the ground. Barristan Tilmy just throws his helmet out and just like wipes his face, which is just covered in sweat. And a raucous roar erupts into the crowd, as that was an absolutely amazing showing. Maesters begin to move out. There are teams to lift these large men in heavy armor.
Just took him up to some horses and drag him off this.
Yep. Later, Tejik, you are awake. Your leg is being tended to by some maesters. It's not broken, he told you, but it is. He basically says there's a slight fracture, and there is like an injury that they have to treat. I think afterwards, Sir Barristan Selmy does come to you. Long white hair, most of it only on the tops and sides of his head. From his age, he looks quite pale.
I might have like a bruise somewhere back.
Oh yeah, there's for sure. There's some kind of bruise on up here. Yeah, and he just goes up to you and he goes, well fought, Lord Weirlight. Quite bold of you. They didn't work out in your favor in the end, but he kind of nods. I have to take every advantage I can get in my age. Once you get as old as me, you'll
quite understandable.
Yes. Well, at the feast tonight, we should share a drink and toast our success. Yes.
Of course. And I'll put out my right hand.
Yes, yeah, he'll take it and grip it. And a part of you, remembering being told this man's legend when you were a literal child by your nursemaid, is just like a little bit of you is like.
Mm-hmm.
There he goes. Yes. Yes. I'll see you there, and perhaps you can regale me with that story when we. I remember you. When we charged Pike. Together. I saw you face off against those Red Hand mercenaries. I would. Yes, I would be regarded with that story well, if you would tell.
Also, I've had another run-in with them recently.
Well, we must drink and talk of it.
Of course.
Nods and walks off. And Jean is just like... all right. We move away from Theodoric. Let's see here. Oh yes, perfect timing. Thorsten.
Yes.
Thorsten, it is time for discussions. 3-day discussion of the Maester Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are several discussions to be had. There is essentially a debate you can participate in. There is a sort of a Kyrugian discussion to be had as well, and there is alchemical it's sort of a competition in
competition alchemical.
Yes, the alchemy competition. Yes, you say.
The alchemy, yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna Edward Elric this bitch.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right. You are. It is essentially a discourse that the Grand Maester will state a concoction you must create. It is not a specific concoction. He doesn't name it. He only names the effects it should have.
Okay.
And then you must concoct it. Now, you are not alone. Those who participate are sort of cordoned off in basically kind of team, the small teams. Your team, essentially, it seems the teams have gotten a little larger. It seems by region, and you are in a team with 2 other maesters who are from the South Reach, like yourself. And so you like know of them. One of them you're like kind of is you were there when you heard the house, when you heard a Maester of House Hightower, you got excited because Maester Munich is one of like the best maesters you know of, but it is not Maester Munich. It is Maester Munich's sort of apprentice, because Maester Munich is quite old. The Hightowers have 3 maesters, as they are the people who own the Maester Citadel, so they have certain privileges. This is one of his apprentices. I think Maester. Where are you? Maester Gregor, who is just probably a few years younger than you. Probably just a few years younger, maybe around your age, essentially. And then the Maester for House Sunflower, which they're your neighbors. So it's like, oh, okay, you're aware that they exist. You don't really know who this guy is, but as you what is your knowledge rank?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's 6.
6. All right, cool. Then as you have the highest, you will be the lead of the team. All right, and everyone sort of squares off, and the other people are very excited about this. There's while there's definitely some gold being bet, it's less gold and more these small talons. Now, Thorsten, you know these talons. These are the talons used at the Maester's Citadel. As they don't really use gold there. They use these sort of representative tokens that you can gain favors and items, essentially, from the tower using these talons.
Correct.
So most of them are betting those, and you, in fact, get a prize of a certain amount of talons and a unique concoction created by the Grand Maester himself.
Ooh.
Yes. And people get very excited. It goes, now to present Grand Maester Pycelle. And you hear a door open somewhere, and a small, like a jingling of chains. As a maester wearing this faded gold and green robe hefts himself up onto stage. A truly sickening coil of chains sat on his around his shoulders that literally obscures his neck. As this withered old venerable man kind of slinks his way onto the stage, arms sort of kept up and tight to his body, as if they weren't there, they'd fall off.
Or he'd fall over.
Or perhaps they'd never rise again. And he comes forward and he goes, "Esteemed maesters of Westeros, the concoction I wish you to create should, when poured on metal, pucker, poured on vegetation, and wetten, and poured on flesh, clean. And he just kind of like leans back. And you begin having to get to work.
Is it rubbing alcohol? Sorry, isopropyl alcohol.
Perhaps. Who knows? Perhaps there's not even a name for it. Maybe he just wants you to do something. So, to begin, Thorsten, I know this is going to be a little tough, but I need you to roll knowledge education. I know. It's so rough.
That's much better than just straight knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
I'm ready. Mm-hmm. Well, I will warn you that the TN was 12. So
I got 6 degrees of success.
No, you didn't. Not 6
No?
degrees. 12. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, or 4 degrees of success, which is phenomenal. You are already way ahead of the other groups. They're like, Thorsten, Mr. Thorsten, what do you think it'd be like? Well, obviously it has an alcohol base, and you just like just begin to like get the ingredients and begin to run around, and you have gathered what you believe you probably will need.
Disgusting.
You disgusting man, you. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Do you have a +4 to that because of Cunning Maester?
Say that one more time.
Did you have a +4 to that roll because of Cunning Maester?
Oh, I didn't. Thank you.
Well, I think you do, right? But I'm saying like we will add 4 to that. Never mind. That's 5 degrees. Excuse me. Even fucking better. So because of that, you will now have to to brew it. Unfortunately, I don't think you have the specific necessary role. Was it not? Was it bonus skill for this? So I believe this will just be this would be a creating alchemical mixture. Yeah, so this would be knowledge.
Just straight knowledge is not knowledge research?
No, this would be straight knowledge. However, you have a +5.
Oh.
Because of your roll earlier.
Okay, and a +4 because it's knowledge.
Yep. No, I
I
know.
got a +9.
Yeah, +9.
You ready?
I'm ready. A 29. Yeah. Interestingly enough, to create this interesting concoction, that's actually only 3 degrees of success. 29. Yes, it was 17. But who cares? You've already got the first part of the mixture done, which is one of the harder parts. Now, you're just cracking your neck. Now you've come to a part where you have to reevaluate a bit what you're doing. So we need a cunning test.
A cunning test, huh?
Yes, a cunning test.
Okay, I don't have any bonuses in anything, so straight cunning. You ready?
I am ready. Yep. Yep.
No.
It's 2 degrees of success. You begin to switch comes out, tell Gregor and others to begin to make certain things, and you begin to mix the concoction. Now, at this point, I would state if you don't feel confident in your mixture, if you would like to do anything to sabotage the other teams. But I feel like you're confident in your mixture, aren't you, Thorsten?
Yeah.
All right, very well. Now then I would need an awareness test to be vigilant against sabotage.
Maesters are cutthroat as hell.
All right, let's see. What do you avoid with an 11? You didn't get a 12, so unfortunately.
I'm going to use my lucky.
All right.
I clicked it again. Did it not go?
Not yet.
I'm going to push it one more time. We'll take obviously the first one. That's because I hit the wrong button.
Oh!
All right.
You sail well above. You keep vigilant. Others try to read what you're doing. You move. Someone kind of walks by and tries to drop something, like oops. But you quickly move your arm and bash it out of their hand. You remember the days when you're studying and you were with maesters who are basically 10 years older than you, taking the same tests, all trying to sabotage you. Mm-hmm. It's very like Academy of the Art of the Unseen, moments of everyone trying to sabotage people. One guy is like, you're pretty sure one guy might be trying to poison someone. It's a whole thing.
Yes.
But Thor, you were able to keep things together fine. In order for because of the third part of the mixture, you have to make sure it is safe and clean for people. So this will, your final roll will require a healing test.
Oh, no.
Straight healing, correct?
Straight healing. 18. Let's see. You have a +2 to this. So that's 20. So yeah. The purpose of this conference is not to win it, it's whoever gets the closest. Because it's T and 15, but yeah, that's just 2 degrees of success. So not only do you present your mixture first, you bring it up to Grand Maester Pycelle, your fellows at your side, and you're holding it, and he goes, and now the test. And you pour it on a blade. It puckers and bubbles. You pour it on a flower. It just seems to make it wet, essentially, and weigh it down. And then the final test, the Grandmaster Pycelle tells you to pour it on your own arm.
I do so.
Yeah. Some of the others, when they hear that, are like, and yeah, you do so, and it just washes down. It's a little odd, and it feels a little stingy, but yeah, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, top notch, young man. And as he moves, you just see his long pointed beard just flaps with his mouth. And this is the closest you've ever been to Grand Maester Pycelle. Top notch. Wait here with you. And the other maesters all come up. The next guy gets pretty close. But unfortunately, combined with all of the previous things, none of them do even remotely as well as you. And one maester who comes up and goes, all right, whose mixture had cracked the pot his flower was in. He was then asked to put it on his arm, and he just kind of goes and just drops it and run. And everyone's like,
oh no, I dropped it.
But you win hands down. Grandmaster Pycelle goes, yes, excellent work. It's so good that we still have young people in Westeros who show as much skill, promise, and eagerness that the Maester tradition will live long after many different the different reigns and dynasties of Westeros. And he just starts clapping, and others begin to clap. It's respectful because it's just a bunch of old men.
Hatred in their eyes.
Very much so. You were handed a bag of talons, and you are given a green bottle by Grand Maester Pycelle.
The bottle is green, or the liquid inside is green?
Maybe. The bottle itself is green. The mixture inside moves strangely within it. And he goes, I'm sure you will be very eager to discover what is in this bottle. And I wish you luck on that. As he does not tell you.
Thank you, Grandmaster.
They goes, thank you. What is your name?
Maester Thorsten, sir.
Thorsten. Maester Thorsten. Whose house do you represent?
The Weirlights.
It seems all the trouble they've had recently, seems they have a very skilled maester they can rely on. That's probably why they can be so reckless. Young man skilled as yourself. And as he's shaking your shoulder, he's got kind of a fucking grip. As he shakes you, he's definitely stronger than he appears. Yes. I guess. Well, for those of you who tried and failed, there was always next year, and for those of you who did not attempt, shame.
All right.
It's like, Jesus. And he goes, and he kind of adjusts himself and begins to waddle off. All right. And Kate, unless you want to engage in the debates, you can leave the Maester's conference with dignity and accolades.
I will do exactly that. I will not be part of it.
Very well, and you gain a point of glory.
Nice.
It's a baby glory, but it counts.
It's still glory.
That's the 2 glory now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Excellent work. Now, before we move on, before we hit the closing feast, is there any scenes anyone who hasn't gone yet would like to have?
Thorsten, come and treat me.
I'd like to come.
I don't know if that's a scene, but maybe a roll. I don't know if you possibly have a different location in mind, but I would not like this at the banquet. Iris and Mariella.
Okay, you don't want to talk to her at the banquet?
I don't know if I really want to have an audience for that one.
Okay.
But
sure.
But it's like I'm cool if that's where that goes down.
Where would you like to talk to her then?
Oh man, I'm just trying to figure out if she basically ran into her at the inn, because if we're housing her, we only have the 3 rooms, which means I ran into her in my own room.
Well, no, she's not staying in the rooms with you. No.
Okay.
No, she has another room.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, the Lucases vacated their rooms.
Shocking! So shocking.
So there's
I
some
wonder
open
how
rooms.
that's happened.
there's some
That's
open rooms.
amazing.
By golly,
It's like
They didn't get their deposit back.
they did not.
no. But no, if banquet is a more interesting layout, because I don't know what might be going on in your head, I'm game with that. But that is a conversation I'd like to have.
Well, I guess the thing is, unless you directly seek Iris out in a secluded spot.
She
You
hasn't
most
been
likely
fucking
will-
told. I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody has super told her that.
I mean, I feel on this day, the day of the feast, I think group. I think Mariella knows at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't anyone against that?
The only
No?
person
No?
who could be would be Bailey, but she's AFK, so we can make assumptions.
Aha! Too bad. I mean Henrik knows, so Henrik might have told his sister. Did you tell your sister, Henrik?
That about the stuff about Iris and everything.
Yeah, I mean obviously maybe not the personal stuff with you and her, but like
Yeah. I think I would have told her.
well, there you go, Mariella. Then you do know.
Okay.
Sit down with my sister. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's been very much like not wanting to make a scene in front of a lot of people for a lot of things, and she knows this is probably going to hit a couple of her trigger buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she will probably want to get this shit out of the way before the banquet.
Sure, absolutely. So I mean, you know where her room is.
Yeah, it'd
used
probably
to
be
Lady
the inn.
Lucas's room. Yeah.
Ooh. Layered. We're gonna make this layered. Sure.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to have that scene.
Lovely. I'm so happy to accommodate you.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about it.
Within the whole shebang, it's like we've probably moved Constance back to the inn. She's there, probably not
Yes.
joining us for the banquet or anything, unless like
No.
she's healed enough to join. But I don't know if she
I mean,
would.
her face is quite.
Yeah. So I think it's probably early enough before I get prepped and ready to go in case I need to calm down. But I probably head over towards where I know Iris's room is and knock on the door.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear Iris go, who is it?
It's Mariella.
Yeah, there's a pause and kind of no noise, but then the door does open fully, and you see Iris in her full height.
Taller than me, yeah.
How tall is Mariella again?
Mariella's between like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, so she's a bit taller than you, as Iris stands at around 5'9".
Yeah.
So she looks at you, face a mask, and goes, "Yes, how can I help you?"
I was wondering if I could have a word.
Of course. And she moves to let you in.
Thank you. Go into the room.
She closes the door. There's not much in here, as she did not have things when she got picked up.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like she has some dresses in some open trunks, probably given to her by Nathan for whatever event was supposed to happen. She is still wearing black, and she's not wearing her veil right now, but she is still wearing black, and she gestures for the chair or the bed, which are the only two places to sit if you wish to sit.
I think she probably takes her time taking in what's in here. It's okay. Kind of refuses a seat, but gestures for her to take one if she'd like.
She doesn't.
I'm sorry about Adam.
She seems to just regard you when you say that. I'll just ask. Mariella, is that a genuine statement?
Yeah.
Okay. I think she'll just kind of go, smile a little bit and look down as if remembering something. Go, thank you. I am too.
If it makes you more comfortable, I'm not privy to everything that occurred.
Well, I feel most everyone is to some degree. As Mary, like you would have heard at the, because she has spoken at this point at the.
Well, yeah, but if there were any more intimate details that she told Clary.
Right, yeah. Like, she was a prostitute. The whole world knows that now.
Yeah. But it's more like I haven't heard more than what you stated at the case.
And she's just like, I don't. She just, I think, shrugs. Nothing more that I would care to say in any form of polite company.
Considering most of our history over the past 6 years? 6 years.
I want to say.
I can only recall one fairly civil conversation, but then again, most of the other ones weren't really conversations.
No, I wouldn't say they were. More of a passing discourse.
What did I say when I was 9? Because that seems to have defined how you will forever see me.
She smiles a little bit, looking down, and goes, "You're asking what you said when you were 9 to provoke such a response from me."
Generally, because learning from how you responded, it armed me very well for Shella.
Yes, I'm sure you have had to withstand much from Michelle.
Oh, I understand that seems strange, but considering I am one of the younger ones of our grouping within the Reach, you were the first one I tried to speak to. It gave a fairly interesting introduction.
She nods. Well, I will say I was a bit sore at that point. I could tell you, I remember very clearly. You see, just the year past, I had watched my mother been raped to death as I hid in a pile of sodded clothes. And I had been hoping and praying for quite some time that it wasn't real, that I would see my mother again, the only person who ever treated me as if I was a person, until Adam got older. He was just my stupid little brother back then. You had, just before speaking to me, your mother had fussed over you. You had a bit of jam on your cheek. And I just remember the way my mother fussed over me. And you had you were very upset privately. Probably no one else really saw it. You didn't make a scene, but you did kind of move your mother's hand out of the way, and and you said that you didn't need her to do that. And then you approached to talk to me, and the only thing I could think of was how ungrateful you must have been. And I lashed out at you. That was that time, and I don't think you had really done anything that really, really deserved that. So when you were 9, I am sorry. But Mariella, that incident didn't color the way I saw you. Every time I saw you, I wondered what had improved. If you had gone better, because I didn't want to listen to my father's ramblings about House Weirlight. He barely treated me like I existed. I didn't care to share his ire. But every time we met, you seemed... I can't even begin to even think of the privilege you had in your house, because it seemed like your voice had something, some weight in your family. And you seemed upset when you were unheard, even though that is the way of any family I know. And I did not understand where that came from. And I know until you learn to keep your footing, Ashella had, I'm like all of us, said some things, awful things. But you see, Ashella didn't say mean things to me. You see, my house isn't as influential as yours, so there were really no consequences for doing the things she did to me. One I definitely remember is she had 2 of her father's men hold me down as they shoved dog shit into my mouth. The night at the ball at their house, they had said some awful things to me, but the thing that definitely hurt worse was the long pin that she stuck through my side. And I will say to you very assuredly, Mariella, I was by far one of the luckier ones. Do you know Mary Sutcliffe? She died of disease when you must have been 13. She was a part of that group. Do you remember?
I believe so.
Yeah, you vaguely remember a girl named Mary who was kind of sweet. You don't really remember much else.
Sweet, maybe a little mousy.
Yeah, a little bit. She goes, she did not die of plague. Ashella and 3 of her friends threw her off a castle battlement.
Jeez.
I saw it. I told someone. I was struck for spouting slander. And I believe it is many of those occasions where I had targeted you, Mariella. as I knew nothing I could say to you could hurt you in the long run. And if it did, well, then maybe I left more of an impact. If you're looking for an apology, I will not apologize for the things I've said.
She's just shaking her head.
Cool. She seems to like understand that, but she just like it needs to be said. I will not apologize for the things I've said to you because you have such a great privilege that you, I hope, recognize now. Especially now, after everything your family has done, of which you have a good family. I do not.
Well, with now knowing what happened to Mary, makes more sense of what she was possibly planning at the welcoming feast.
What happened at the welcoming feast?
She was targeting another girl.
That's right, Ariadne, I remember. I had sort of snuck in.
I had managed to keep her out of Shella's grasp.
That's good. Bold. I assume Michelle doesn't know that was your goal.
No.
Smart.
It's better to let Ashella assume what is to her liking when your actions are otherwise.
She nods. I just want you to know, Mariella, though I'm sure this isn't a notion that's shared, I never hated you. I just was mad that you didn't seem to appreciate what you had.
That's how that shows. I fully understand what I have. I just recognize I don't get to keep it.
No one does.
No woman does.
She nods. She goes, she says once again, no one. As if, oh, just women.
The superior sex, yes.
In her point of view.
Hmm.
But, like, we never do. And you are someone who was born with intelligence and privilege and position. You can do something about Ashella in the long run.
She just kind of smiles and kind of like gives the nod, like fate indication of like,
yeah. Like, I guess I just wanted you to know that this world you are in was not all good. She just kind of shrugs. I don't know.
it's sad. Considering this is probably the most honest conversation we've had. That our 6 years of history and predetermined images are already stuck in our minds.
Maybe yours, but mine has changed significantly over the past year. I'm barely who I used to be. Normally, I would be loath to share this information with anyone, but it just sort of doesn't matter anymore. And there's a freedom in it. I hold no form of ill will towards you, Mariella. If you do towards me, I understand why, but I do not feel sympathy for you. I feel... Perhaps the term would be happy for what your future holds. I hope you do something good with what you have. And I hope, not just you, but I hope there are some girls out there like us who hear me and my story, and something good happens because of it. That's all I want. It's a lot, I know.
I think some of that will depend on some of the first steps. But I have a question. It may seem odd, but with what you've said, something's not adding up. Did you ever deliberately go in and destroy a few of my belongings on the few times that we've met?
No. What? No.
Almost always after you have said something to me, something mysteriously was broken.
She looks to the side like, no. I hope you know that there's no reason to hide anything anymore, but no, I've never done that, Mariella.
Then I know of one asp that might have enjoyed some of that.
Well.
Although I would use more colorful language like my brother, but then I know my mother would eventually hear of it and there'd be repercussions.
Oh, I'm sure you can say whatever you want to me.
Oh, that'd be trusting you more than I'm used to.
Oh, yes, because there's so much I can do now.
Oh, yes, indeed.
She smiles. Just be very careful of Ashella. She's smarter than she lets on. She has a great amount of privilege and position, a stranglehold on many of young women, and an extension, their families. She is very ambitious, and she is a very true, utter, and unashamed monster. And not in the way young women are.
Truly, one flower I wish was plucked and removed from the reach.
Oh, you and everyone else, except for the few that suckle from her teats.
I don't know why, I bet it's sour.
She laughs.
Thank you for allowing us to speak. I'm not sure if you're planning on attending this evening.
I have been informed that I should, as there are people who wish me well for my brother.
I'm not quite sure, but we can also check to see if there were other members that had traveled with your brother still present there.
There are. I'm going to meet up with them then. I've already spoke to them once, actually. They said our master of arms is mainly in charge now of the group, and do you know that he said that one night Henrik showed up at the camp after Adam's death and demanded that he be allowed to give Adam's armor and horse back to the family.
She kind of grins and is like holding back a bit of a laugh. It's like, I can believe that. That's very Henrik.
It is. And our master, I assumed he refused them, but apparently Henrik broke through to him, which I did not think was possible. The man was incredibly stubborn.
So is Henrik. He gets that from my father.
Well, it's just interesting, I think. Also, you don't have to worry, or your mother worry. There was, I don't know if, I know this has not been said yet, but there
I know.
was never, okay. Just wanted to make sure. And no, Henrik has not proposed to me. Or even inclined anything like that.
He would offer if you gave the inclination, but would respect if you would prefer to find your future elsewhere.
Well, I would prefer to have a future.
Well, he's not a lord, but were making friendly with a Dornish gentleman that is also staying here. We did notice you at the Grand Melee. Granted, we were distracted when Sir Barristan Selmy kind of knocked my father out of the match, but...
Well, it is Sir Barristan Selmy.
Indeed.
I mean, your father did take down Sir Ellis Westerling.
True.
Well, yes, that is true. He seems to not really care about that. He's young and naive and does not know that he should. I might take advantage of that. She says in a very clearly joking manner.
Mariella kind of like gives a look of like acknowledgement, but like it kind of turns a bit more serious. It's like, consider.
She's like, oh no, like, listen, I'm like out of the game, but I'm not out of the game.
If he allows you to take advantage, then who are we to say no to that?
Not I.
Considering I'm not even in there. She kind of like does like a vague hand gesture and like a step back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think we'll kind of call that scene there.
I imagine like they kind of do like silent like, okay, we're
like,
done, but we have history.
This is just like, well, I have to get ready, so
yeah.
I don't have maids to do mine. And she's just, and it's a clear like.
No, yeah, it's like I think Maria is like, I won't either this evening. Constance is like, there is some pain there, but like kind of gives a nod and like, will let herself out.
Okay. You do say that, but waiting outside of your room, seemingly hired by your mothers, there are like 2 young women ready to.
Yeah, I feel like she's mostly closed the door and then like re-knocked. And it's like you might run. It's like kind of like gives a look and like opens up the door to let the girls through.
Yeah. 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 Like, my lady, we're here to do your hair. Yep, absolutely. You were gone, Clarissa, but before we get into the feast, is there anything that you wanted to do?
Prior.
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Fantastic! Then we will have a break.
Hey.
That's right.
Oh.
We will have a break. And then we will get to the closing feast and the final moments of the Kingslanding arc. Please relieve yourself, get glasses of water, stand up, you deserve it, but don't go anywhere. Come back.
Join
as
us.
we
Please come back.
Please come back. As we end to the final bits of this arc. All right. See you in a bit.
We'll be back. Woo.